नमस्ते, मेरो नाम सन्दीप लामा। आज हामी वाशिङटन युनिभर्सिटी अफ भर्जिनिया एनेडलमा छौँ। क्यामेराम्यान साइड मेरो दाइ विश्वराज थापा र म सन्दीप लामा। आज हाम्रो छोटो अन्तर्वार्ता यहाँको प्रेसिडेन्ट डाक्टर पिटर च्याङ यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ। Good evening, Dr. Chang.
Good evening.
It's nice to have you here.
Nice to meet you.
And
Thanks for having me.
nice to have you here, Ms. Joyce Park. She is the Director of Operation for Washington University of Virginia. So let's get started with our school. How is it going so far with our Washington University of Virginia?
I think our students and our faculty and staff, they all like it, like the name change.
That's
so
good.
we'll have a good impact, yeah.
Yeah, so what is the reason for changing the name of the school?
Or because with the name Baptist, it's kind of a little restricted.
Right.
So we wanted to open up to all different ethnic groups and different denominations and different peoples, and so we wanted to be a global university. That's why we changed our name.
Wow, that's really good. So how did our school get started, Washington University? Like, how did we get started? When was it established?
It began in 1982. So
Wow.
this is like a 33 years now.
Wow.
In 1982, a handful of Korean pastors, they got together.
Wow.
They wanted to train Christian pastors. That's how it began.
Right.
And then from there, it began to grow. And then it was okay, not just these pastors, also all these students, young students, let's train them. And then we began to see immigrants. They need to know like American laws and American culture. That's why we began to offer business school.
Right.
And then, of course, we still have seminary, but also immigrants have a lot of stress and emotional problems. So we truly wanted to help them. So we are offering counseling, and that's how we grew.
That's really good to hear about that. And up until 30-some years, how is it going, and what experience have you had until today?
We have been more like a steadily growing, not just quantity, but also quality-wise.
Right.
But more than anything, we began our journey of that accreditation. That was really a turning point. And accreditation means basically, unless you are accredited by some accrediting agencies, approved by the federal government, basically your degree means nothing. And people don't know.
Right.
But that's why we wanted our students and their degrees to mean something.
Right.
That's why we began the journey of accreditation. And so we are accredited by an agency called ABHE.
Okay, so
right now.
it's, how does that accreditations and all that work? Do we have to have a certain expertise of fields like business management or something like that? Or how does it really work?
They do not really come and tell us what kind of classes you should have. That's our decision.
Oh, okay.
Because we looked at what students need.
Right.
That's why we began to offer those classes. Immigrants, and they come and they have to know business.
Exactly.
And that's why we wanted to teach them to do business right. And also some people, they start the business without knowing American legal system. They just lost all their money.
Right.
Because they did things illegally,
Exactly.
without even knowing it.
Right.
That's why we wanted to help our immigrant, students to be successful in this country.
Right. As a successful businessman, whenever we are in a business, we all want to grow, we all want to be a very successful. So in terms of this, how is WBU standing so far in terms of growing and in terms of future plans? Please give me a brief information about that.
We started out probably around maybe around 20, 30 students,
Wow.
and now we are around 600 students. And also we started out with just Korean students.
Right.
Now we have close to 30 countries
Right.
in a small community, but we have a big, large population of this. We are becoming a global family here.
That's
I want our students to realize that, you know, people we are not familiar with, they're just like us.
Right.
They are no different. We are all human beings. So forget, don't worry about, and don't have a fear about others, and really live together, understand each other, and that's the kind of environment we try to create.
Yeah, that is really good, Dr. Chang. And also, does our WBU offer scholarships?
We have a lot of scholarships, yes.
Okay, could you give me some information?
Some scholarships, of course, we have academic excellence when you really a good student.
Right.
But our good student does not simply mean just a bookworm.
Right.
You have to show that dedication and leadership in the classroom, and also service in the school. And then also we have some scholarship for something called work study.
Uh-huh.
And because immigrant students, they cannot, I-20 student, F1 student cannot go out and work outside.
Right.
So they have to work within the school. So we do not have tons of jobs, but we try to create as many jobs as possible for our students.
Right.
They can work within the school. And then also designated scholarships and any other scholarship I forget?
Yes, comparative scholarship and student government scholarship.
Student government scholarship.
Yes,
Yeah.
benevolent scholarship.
That's
Yeah,
really
we
good.
have quite a few. Actually, you'd be surprised. All the accrediting agencies, they are telling us that you guys are giving out too much scholarship compared to other schools.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everybody is
They don't know.
Right.
People don't think we give out a lot of scholarships. Actually, comparatively, yes, we have quite a few scholarships.
That's good to hear that, Dr. Chang. And also, could you tell us something about the educational technologies and also how we can move our university to next level?
Say again, the first question?
Since we all have a different educational technologies in today's world, and how do we plan to take our university to next level?
Right now we're planning to have a IT school with a business school. Now we are, but with the accreditation, you cannot simply start just program.
Right.
You have to go through the accrediting agencies, and you have to tell them, well, we are going to start this program, so please grant us right to do this. And so it takes time, but in the meantime we are preparing. That's why we have an MBA class with technology, IT incorporated right now. It's a beginning, and then as we grow, we'll have a full-blown IT school.
That's really, yeah, IT is really expanding. And
Right.
They have a very big technologies and
Everywhere.
very big scope, especially for students. And also, how do we think students up here are doing their educations, and what is the difference that you have found out today so far as being one of the international students? Cool. So what do you think is the most important part for F1 students?
Number one, I think I mentioned that the New Year's festival. I myself an immigrant, and I've been through that difficulties. And it's not easy for that ethnic minority students. People come here and suddenly you become successful. But America is a great country with great opportunities. But to seize those opportunities, you have to have education.
Right.
That's the key to success. I mean, those who have been here and neglect education, they also fall into the poverty.
Right.
That's why I want to help all our ethnic minorities to be really successful. That's why, and then of course with that comes now, once you know, for example, from people, I mean, people from your country, they come here, even if you are very well off there,
Right.
when you come here, it's not joke to pay the tuition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we struggle so much. But question was, how can you keep tuition affordable
Exactly.
and yet without sacrificing the quality of education? In a lot of cases, if your tuition is low, and then people tend to expect very low kind of class education. No, we decided that's not, we need to change the paradigm.
Right.
Affordability and the quality, they should go together. That's the only way we can help these ethnic, minorities. And I don't know how wealthy you are, but I don't think you can pay like a Harvard and that kind of school.
Exactly.
Too expensive.
Right. I totally agree with that part. Even I being a student of WPU, it feels really great to be here. And even I've been to different schools before, and the tuition fees is that's what makes difference, and it's very affordable. And it is very, very much the education of quality, and the quantity is, growing, and it's getting updated every since then. I think it's a really good thing about WUV having a good tuition fees. So, Dr. Chang, how much is the tuition fees for bachelor students and master's students?
And one credit.
Yes, we have different tuitions each school.
Right.
Yes, business school is a master course is $210
Per
per
credit,
credit.
Okay.
Yes.
So it really depends on what
It's
they are
different, yeah.
taking.
Yeah.
Undergraduate a lot cheaper.
Right.
I mean, a lot lower.
So as WBU's service area has extended for hundreds of miles, including a multitude, diverse city population, ethnic groups. What would you think you can provide educational opportunities to those type of groups?
Can you repeat that?
Actually,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. WVU has a service area that has been expanded more than 100 miles, and I think that is really good. And also it includes a multitude, diversity of ethnic groups. How do you think you can help them with educations and to achieve their educational and academic goals?
That I think we already mentioned that. Number one, the quality shouldn't be sacrificed at all,
Right.
because that's why when we hire faculty members, and we look at their credentials,
Right.
and sometimes like some faculty members, they come and they teach, and student evaluation is not that good, then they are gone next semester. So we kind of rotate and try to find, faculty members whom students really like and they want to learn from. So we try to keep quality that way. And then also, we have right now, we are trying to recruit students from different ethnic areas, and for example, like Brazil or Nepal, and in these areas. Right now, we don't have our staff in those cities, but eventually I'd like to have our recruitment offices there in each city, and that's how we'll.
So it's basically like a student exchange program.
That, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it because we are working on it right now.
Right.
And a student exchange program, and even just F1, if
Right.
you build a good relationship with the embassy, and if they realize that we are actually really trying to help, their students, and
Right.
if they cooperate, then even F1 will have a much easier time.
Right.
But of course, J1 will help even more.
Right. So, student exchange program is not just an exchange program between two colleges, but it comes to different nations.
Right.
Right. So, when we're talking about two different nations, we are talking about the government policies, rules and regulations.
Yes.
So how do we think we can work something out with this kind of policies and government people?
I think that's one good example is like when the Nepal community invited me to come to New Year's festival, and it's been second time I went
Right.
there, and I met people, and I got to know some people, and I think I'd like to talk to some of the people, and so that I would be part of the Nepal community.
Right.
I like to do the same with like Brazil or Thailand, and eventually it's a relationship.
Exactly.
It's a relationship. So I would like to build a relationship with influential people so that they can help this young and upcoming student.
Okay, that's really good to hear, Dr. Chang. And also, I have one more question for
Mm-hmm.
you. Like, there might be certain kinds of plans and certain kinds of ideas where we think we can implement in near future.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the things that we think we can make it together?
Together with I mean,
As a
at
whole,
school,
entire school.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm saying is,
Mm-hmm.
as we come up together as a team,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely not easy, but when we
No,
work as a
uh-huh.
team, when we come up with, when we tackle the problems and come up with the good solutions, sometimes one or the other way, it doesn't implement the way how it is supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we think we should work out with those kind of situations?
Yeah, you are speaking about, you're referring to a leadership issue. I like to have the leadership team,
Right.
and I would create. Remember, I wanted to have some time with the president, with some students, and
Okay.
what I like to do is I like to have representatives from each ethnic group, and I like to create some kind of a very open dialogue space where I can hear what they want, and or sometimes they may have some wonderful ideas.
Right.
Because I don't care where the ideas come from, as long as they are good, I'll take them. Then we use it for the school. So yeah, I like to. I'm really, until now, I noticed like people. So for example, students from Nepal. Overall, people are a little shy, kind of reserved.
Right, right. I think most of the Asian people are.
Yeah, we are.
the same
That's what we
type of-
understand.
Right.
So I realized now, since Koreans are the same,
Right.
and so we are beginning to realize, okay, we have to really take initiative and really go to them and really take the initiative of. And so we've been in our leadership team, we've been talking about those issues.
Right.
And that's why we hired Dinov student,
Right.
and she's a her English is good, and
Right.
she's also very quietly approaching our students so that we may know. Right now, we are not trying to do anything, just big movement. We just try to show students, respect,
Right.
individual respect, and so we'll build a. We still have a long way to go, but I'd like to build that kind of relationship among students.
Quick question, Dr. Chang, regarding J1 and student exchange program. How long do you think this process, when it goes to the federal government filing and all that, government issues and all that, how long do you think is usually a standard time?
My desire is as soon as possible. Actually, I talked to, we are talking to some law firm that is dealing with J1. And so what we are doing is one side, we are applying for J1 so that we can issue J1 visa.
Right.
I think it's something that was some other name. It's like F1 and I-20, J1, and that was, we can, it's not, we do not issue J1, but there is something like 289 or something there, and we can issue that. And then also there is some companies, they're actually working more like a
Third party.
Yeah, third party. That's good. Third party, and so right now we are trying to work with them. That way we can quickly have students. But in the meantime, we will obtain that right to issue that whatever that J1 visa allows us to have. So we're working on it.
Okay, that's really good. And also, since we have a lot of Nepali students, a lot of international students in WV, I think our school is very, very good for international students, especially when they are especially on F1 status. I think the best part is the academic, and the tuition fees. When it comes to tuition fees, like a lot of students are having so much problems in paying their tuition fees, and they end up going out of status, being illegal, and even they are forced not to go to school, and even they are forced to go to school. So what do you say about this situations? How can we handle the situations, and how can we help students to mobilize their life?
That's a very tricky issue. Our desire is to help that student as long as we can.
Right.
So we have installment, pay like 3 times, divide 3 times they pay in installment. And even sometimes they wouldn't do that. We'll extend it again. And now, the reason we began to take some actions is because what happened was accrediting agency came and they looked at us unpaid tuition, and that was like a alarm. And the question is, it's a very, very bad management.
Right.
And how can you run the school, operate the school, when you cannot collect the money?
Right.
And then not only the government also came upon us. And it was basically, because what they see is how well we manage it. And they look at it as like a failure of management.
Right.
And we try to be nice to students.
Exactly.
But it is, and so once you have that kind of, signal, and then they would come on us hard. And they try to, figure out everything and find all kinds of problems. And that's why we have to, there is a certain line we can go. We are allowed to go as far as, to a certain point.
Right.
After that, it's very difficult. Sometimes we know, sometimes our staff cries because when they have to make a certain decisions.
Exactly.
It's not a pleasant decision. But if we keep that continuously, the school is in jeopardy.
Right.
that's when we make a decision. But we do our best to really try to help understand, because we know what it's like to live here.
So I think that is a very good idea, and especially for F1 students, you know, even I personally think I'm here as an international student, and I think it is very, we have a very decent tuition fees, and even I request, I request my friends, my families, to, you know, double check the pricing and tuition fees, you know, whichever is very affordable and you think will have a quality education, I think they should go with that.
Yeah.
Also, could you please give us some information regarding CPT and OPT? You know, how does students get eligible to apply for CPT, and when do students get eligible to apply for OPT, and all that stuff?
That's within this in this segment?
Yes.
No. OPT is basically, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
OPT is when a student, I think they can apply for OPT when they become junior?
No, after graduate.
After graduate,
Yes.
yeah. And after graduate, but it's a basically work permit.
Work permit.
Yeah, but it has to be the field that they studied. It has to relate.
Right.
And some students, they finished MBA, and they go and flipping the burgers.
Right.
They don't look at it as related. I mean, you can make a case, but they don't look at it as a legitimate OPT.
Right.
You cannot do that. So you have to do according to your major, and that's OPT. I think it's 1 year.
Okay.
1 year.
Yes.
Well, and what about the CPT?
CPT is you can do it during the school year.
Okay.
Is it after
Yes.
junior, or is there any?
Graduate student can get a CPT during the semester. Actually, first semester they can get a CPT.
Oh, okay.
So
So CPT is kind of related to your curriculum,
yes, of course.
and then they can work off campus.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think CPT and OPT is, you get OPT when you graduate. I think CPT is very helpful for students.
As for those issues, you better come to our DSO and tell us some details. We cannot spend time here. There are some details. We are the DSO team. They are willing to help. Help them out. So whenever they have questions, they should come and talk to them.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Chang. I think it was really great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Inspired. It was great talking to
Thank
you all.
you.
Thank you.